have the lining like pop out greatly. Yeah, that was dumb.
I'm smart, I have big brain, I can figure this out. My brain already hurts.
Gorgeous. This skirt with these like little leaves are going to be. What are these actually? Sorry if the lighting doesn't look amazing. It's been overcast for about the last week, so trying my best. The inspiration for this dress that you've obviously seen because you saw the thumbnail came when I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts because I don't have TikTok, and I saw this short by Scarlett O'Hare. By the way, if you want hair envy and also just to watch someone do the coolest things with hair, highly recommend. She was wearing this dress and I immediately fell in love with it. I did that like reverse Google search thing where you put it into Google and you know. And it turns out that it was from Free People from like 4 or 5 years ago. It's not available anymore. And so I was considering going and getting it secondhand from like Poshmark or something when I thought to myself, why not just sew it? And you can make a couple of changes that you want to make. So that's what we're doing. So this video is me just trying to recreate this Free People dress, but make it a little bit more my style, make a couple of stylistic changes. I had a really good time. My brain hurts though. You will see me back here at the end just to do a little wrap up, give you my thoughts. But until then, let me show you how I made this dress.
So the first step, obviously, was to separate the layer I wanted from the layers I didn't want on the comforter, and that includes some tufting that was put in every couple of feet, which was not fun to take out.
Can we just talk about for a second how absolutely gorgeous this skirt with these like little leaves are going to be? Or what are these actually? It's gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited.
I also had to draft, in the loosest sense of the word, a lower bodice band, an upper bodice band, and the crisscross sections that would go across my chest.
So as you can see, the little floral pattern is only at the bottom half, which I really love because I feel like I can make that all the skirt, and then all I have to do is flip this over and get all of my top pieces out of this. And not only that, but if you go from the top of this pattern to the bottom, which you can't see right now, there is a few inches of extra space that I have because I really only want to make this ankle length, so I have a lot of space at the bottom if I need to cut out like my lattice pieces or any of my extras that I have made, because I did have to make some extra pattern pieces for this. For the base of the bodice, I'm using this dress that I've used before just for the bodice, not the skirt. The skirt I'm literally just going to cut off and gather into just a long rectangle. It's gonna be super easy. This is going to first lengthen the bodice, which I want, and it's just an easy square neckline, which the original dress has, and the yokes make it a little easier to understand the sleeves for me because I was studying the sleeves and they kind of confused me. In this general area. So the yokes will make it easier for me to understand. I am using just the sleeve section from this pattern that I used last time, but I'm doing the bodice portion, but again, only the sleeve. It's just a nice basic sleeve that I feel like I can do a lot too. And this is actually a great pattern. You get like a ton of different things in it. I also had to make a few pattern pieces. They are very easy, they're just rectangles, but I did have to do math, so you should be proud of me, I did math. This is going to be the lower chest, but it's only half, making sure that I have more than enough, so my seam allowances are very generous. I have a top of the bodice band that goes here, again, it's half. I have my little lattice pieces. I just measured like generally what this would be like across at a diagonal at my bust. I think my math worked out to 24 total, so I'm going to cut 12 times. Pretty easy so far, I think. I'm going to try to put everything on here and cut them out, and hopefully it goes easily. Knock on wood.
Everything fit perfectly, and I even had enough room to cut out a self-lining for the bodice. That was just even better than I could have imagined. It was then time to sew the bodice and its lining together.
We're all connected? We're all connected. Okay, you are getting the most beautiful version of me today. I literally woke up and could not stop thinking about this dress. I had to get to work as soon as I could, but this is the outer shell. It's looking pretty good. The only thing that is missing is the back. So I think the next step, if I'm thinking this through correctly, would be to put in the sleeves and then put the lining layer in. That way I can tuck as many layers inside as possible without having to top stitch or hand stitch. I'm probably gonna hand stitch some of this just because I'm so excited and I'm really loving this project. I probably want the inside to look as pretty as it possibly can, but I might top stitch something. It's just faster. Probably the back panel might get top stitched just for strength reasons. So I think it's gonna be put the sleeves in, then put the lining layer on, and then the base layer will be pretty much done and we can move on. Cool.
So as you might have noticed, I cut the sleeves down the middle as well as making them slightly longer and wider, and that was to try to emulate the original design. The outer edge is left open with a tie, and I think that is such a cute detail. So now it was time to put the left and right sleeves together.
It is now time to do one of my favorite things while sewing, and that is shirring. I have to do it for the back panel, and that's great because it is in the original gown as well as the pattern that I'm using. So I went ahead and threaded the elastic by hand. If you want more of a step-by-step process of how I do shirring, I have a whole other video. I'll put it up on top. I'm gonna get started and probably do a line of shirring every ½ an inch roundabouts. I think that's what the pattern said. So time to have some fun. I have not been in this shot most of the time. It's fine. We're gonna start.
There is something so satisfying about watching your machine do shirring. Like, woohoo! That is fun. This is my version of ASMR, honestly. When all is said and done, this is what the front looks like. And this is what the back looks like. I then attached the sleeves and kind of considered keeping them like this. I felt like I had little wings.
Yeah, so that whole being able to just sew the arms, eyes together and have the lining like pop out great. Yeah, that was dumb. The second I started sewing, I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. So we're not doing that. That would have not worked. I'm gonna go ahead and save hand sewing the arms, eyes of the lining until tonight, because that's like not fun stuff that I can just do in front of the television. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the lattice section. I'm super excited. That's gonna be a lot of just like sewing rectangles for a while, but I might get to like a cool point today. Let's see how much I can sew by the end of the day.
So I started sewing all those long, skinny pink rectangles, and then I took a safety pin and slipped them right side out, which got very repetitive very fast. It was then time to figure out how the original design did that lattice pattern, and here you get to literally watch my 3 brain cells work overtime and fail miserably.
It's like, oh, that's so much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. It's like a braided a little bit because it's over. It's me, it's my fault. Okay, so these go like this. Yes? Okay. I'm smart, I have big brain, I can figure this out. My brain already hurts. Somebody help. And then you have to do this. Why is this so complicated? Wait, that's not, what? Nope, nope, yep. There we go. My brain hurts. Nope, I switched it at some point. That's not correct. Under. Over. Under. My gosh.
I did eventually get the hang of it though, so yay.
That took every single one of my little tiny brain cells, but I think I figured it out. I'm gonna go eat.
After dinner, I came back and attached all those pieces to the top and bottom bands.
So, gotta kind of pull my overalls up. A lot of it was hand sewing, and while I enjoy watching other people hand sew, I'm not good at it because I get very frustrated very quickly. I just kind of did a bunch of hand sewing, and here we are. So we have this now, and originally my plan was to kind of, hold on, maybe I put this here. My original plan was to kind of scooch this up to where it's just here. But am I wrong, or is it cuter here? I don't know. I feel like I like this more, and then maybe just tucking a couple of these like side ones in to kind of fit a little bit better. I think I like that better. I'm having a hard time. I feel like it's all coming down to I didn't quite plan everything perfectly, and now I'm having to make decisions. And I don't like making decisions. I think I like more lattice. I think that's really pretty, and then what I can do, these won't stop falling off. I'm gonna have to put like a connecting tie at the back because it just will not stay on my shoulders. I'm gonna say I like this. Because my lattice is smaller, having it be a little bit longer, I think is the way to go, to just kind of get the same vibe, I think. I think what I'll do is I'll put this on last, like I'll leave this up like this until the skirt is attached, and then I will hand stitch that on, I think. Or maybe I'll just top stitch it. I don't know. Okay, let's get to it.
I then did the Morgan Donner trick of putting a ribbon around your waist and measuring a straight hem on the skirt from the top instead of the bottom. I've mentioned Morgan Donner twice in 2 videos. I watch YouTube basically all the time, so it's my main frame of reference, okay? Don't judge me. But anyway, that worked super well, and I'm definitely gonna try that again in the future. I then attached the skirt to the bodice and stitched the bottom edge of the lattice pattern to the bottom edge of the bodice. I then went back and tucked any strips that were too long and hand stitched them to where they could be hidden. And at that point, the project was finally done, and it's time to show you how this dress turned out.
Okay, so final thoughts. I would love to try this again. I really like this. I love it. I love it. There are just a couple of things that in my perfect world I would have changed. I would have loved to have made the sleeves a little bit wider and a little bit longer than I had already made them. I'd already done both of those things. I just hadn't done it enough. And I would like to try, because the bodice didn't really lengthen that much, maybe by an inch, but it needed a couple at least more inches. So I think if I were to go at this again, I would just keep that lattice section at the bust and then do a complete shirred waistline with like 4 or 5 inches of just shirring all around the waist. And actually, I would like to try this again in the future. I do want to attempt this, and I think maybe it'd be like a fun series, retrying a couple of things that I thought did pretty well, but if I could change them, I would, because I would also in the future like to do 2 contrasting fabrics, like have the sleeve and the under bodice be one pattern and then the lattice and the skirt be another pattern or color, you know, way in the future. Generally very happy. I think it's very cute. It feels very fantasy, a little bit historical, which if that's not my intersection, baby, I don't know what is. But that's gonna be it for me this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you had a good time. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you back here real soon. Bye.